Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have the distinct honor to introduce what is my personal favorite portion of the event, and I think it might be yours too, the student panel. As you know, we have amazing students at TCC, and the students chosen today are representing all the campuses and speaking for the students on how Achieving the Dream initiatives and, of course, your work has helped shape their success. Now, what would a student panel be without student MCs? Allow me to introduce our two wonderful student MCs that I've had the pleasure of knowing for the last year. Carl Sims is pursuing a degree in hospitality, thank you, management, and after a very long intermission from formal education, he is now back. He spent 10 years in the Air Force and 3 years in the Texas Air Guard during Desert Storm in the field of environmental engineering. After separation, he was regional director for Clay Savage Environmental in Texas, and after 2 years, he decided to go back to his first love, music. He then started a production company and started doing performances and lights and sound, which sparked his appetite for event planning, which led him to TCC. He was born and raised in a ranch outside Waco and grew up with a family that put a high level of emphasis on education. We're so glad you're here, Carl. I'd also like to welcome Zelmer Zimmerman. He was born in Brooklyn, New York, and raised in South Carolina. He entered the United States Navy in 1987. His final duties included emergency supply operations for DLA Distribution Depot, providing comprehensive physical distribution support to over 70 Navy afloat units and over 100 DoD ashore commands and activities throughout the Western Pacific, Arabian Gulf regions. He served for 20 years and retired as the rank of Chief Petty Officer. Upon retiring from the military, he accepted a position at Integrity Texas Construction, which led him to TCC for a business degree. He is married to Tara Zimmerman, and they have 2 adult children. Please help me welcome Zelmer Zimmerman. And also, I just want to thank these men for their service. I know we can all appreciate that as well.
All this data sleuth talk has got me thinking about my favorite detective movie.
Is that right? Well, what is your favorite?
I thought that was obvious. Miss Scarlet in the library with the scissors.
Scissors, all right. So that still doesn't answer the question. What is your favorite detective movie?
Well, that's elementary, my dear Watson.
Oh, so it's Sherlock Holmes.
No, Rush Hour.
Okay. Well, I have one for you. Which detective movie do you think it was the scariest to star in? Silence of the Lambs, Seven, or Kindergarten Cops? Never mind. Kindergarten Cops.
I don't know about you, but that Turner & Hooch movie, that was a real tearjerker. I love that dog.
All right. That's enough. We're wasting these good people's time. Let's go ahead and introduce our guests of honor today, which is the students. Okay, representing the South Campus today, we've got Derek Williams. He's here with regard to student transitions and success corps. Derek is studying business and hopes to utilize the knowledge to continue his success at Tarrant County College. Derek is an on-call assistant at TCC in the Work Services Department. He is a first-generation college student. Next up, representing Northwest Campus, we have Ismael Castaneda. He's here regarding new student orientation. Ismael is an economics major who carries a 3.8 GPA. He's president of the Texas Association of Mexican American College Students, historian for Business Professionals of America, and a member of the Cornerstone Honors Program, Phi Theta Kappa, Filmmakers Club, and Men of Color. Ismael is also a first-generation college student who's faced a great deal of adversity in his path, on his path to college. Next up, representing Southeast Campus, we have Araba Asakwa. She's here representing Math Emporium. Araba grew up in Ghana, the west coast of Africa. After her husband graduated college there, they came to America. That was 11 years ago, and during that time, Araba raised 2 young children and worked as a substitute teacher in a local school district. She then decided to return to school as a full-time student. The challenges are many due to her responsibilities as a wife and mother. Next, we have, representing the Northeast Campus, Mike Rose, here regarding advising. Mike is majoring in childhood education with a minor in kinesiology. His goal is to become a teacher and a coach. He currently carries a 3.6 GPA and is a member of Phi Theta Kappa. Mike's interests outside of college are diverse, and he is finishing the setup of his nonprofit organization, Men Working with Boys. Mike is a devoted single father of 2. Here from e-learning, we have Susie Smith. She's here regarding online classes, student success, and faculty mentoring. Susie's been attending Tarrant County College for 3 years as a nursing major. Her goal is to begin the nursing program at the East Campus this fall. Susie recently completed the phlebotomy program, and became a certified phlebotomy technician. And finally, from Trinity River Campus, we have Irving Ledesma. He's here regarding achieving the dream experience. In pursuing his career in international business, Irving hopes to travel overseas and experience new cultures. Irving is driven by a desire to be successful, and that drive has earned him a nomination for the International Dean's List. He recently graduated from the Chancellor's Emerging Leaders Program, which focuses on developing leadership skills. Irving is passionate about making a lasting impact within his community, and Irving, too, is a first-generation college student.
Okay, we have a few questions. Derek, how has faculty mentors motivated you along your student journey?
Thank you. Thank you for your question. I'd like to start off by saying that no one can do it alone. It takes a number of people in your life to push you, to motivate you, and encourage you along this long journey. Starting off, I didn't really know why I was in college or where I was going to end up, and I'm sure most students don't. But then I met Dr. Rideau, the Vice President of Student Success at the South Campus. I was content with where I was in my life and where I was going, but I met a man who saw a bigger picture. I attended his transition to college class, and within that class, he taught us to set goals for ourselves, but a little bit more detailed than that, how we plan to accomplish these goals. He taught us how to be self-starters, how to manage our time, and he told us that we can do anything we set our mind on. For me, transition to college wasn't just learning how to be a college student, it was learning how to transition into adulthood. Since his class, a month after completing his class, I've successfully got my first apartment. This is one of the many goals I've accomplished since transition to college, because I was taught to see the big picture. I was taught to see the dream.
Very good, Derek. You've had a lot of positive influences in your life, and your mother was one of those influences. She told you about the importance of education. Was there ever a time that you doubted that wisdom? And what would you say to the educators that have to teach young people that may have those doubts?
Well, yes, coming up, there was a lot of times that I doubted even going to school at all. They say the way to a man's heart is his stomach, and I'm a firm believer of that one. But how do you reach a person's motivation? How do you plug into someone's ambition so that they can finish the race, their dreams? You see, if you present a curriculum or idea to a number of people, some may find interest. Some may want to grasp what you're saying. But if you apply to your students how what you are saying has to do with their dream and how it's going to get them there, you've opened a door that goes both ways. Incorporate in your class a light at the end of the tunnel, not just more tunnel. Everyone reaches that point where you want to quit or you don't get it. Maybe there's another way I can go about this, or maybe college just isn't for me. Having your dreams associated with that helps you to push on. Colleagues and members of staff, incorporate in your class and invest in your students' dreams, because dreams are where motivation is derived. Student success is a huge step in the American dream, and with any dream you have, the only limits are the ones you set yourself. Thank you.
Hi, Israel. Could you please tell us about your new student orientation experience?
Yes. Well, I attended the new student orientation before school started, and, well, it allowed me to get the right resources that I needed. Being a first-generation college student, I didn't have the right resources given to me, but this new student orientation gave me all that Tarrant County College gave access to their new students as freshmen. I learned many things on this new student orientation, such as the advisors, the different faculty hours, the different programs that they offer, the clubs, everything, including the gym hours and everything. We want to have some fun after class. So it was a great experience because I also got to meet different professors at that time, so it can give us a few insights about their classes and also meet students at the same time.
Very good. You did say that you are a first-generation college student. What were some of the biggest obstacles that you faced as a student?
Well, first of all, speaking on behalf of all first-generation college students, I just want to say that it's harder for us, but it is possible. But for obstacles, there was the fact that my parents didn't go to college. The highest level of education for my mom was middle school. The highest level of education for my father was high school. After that, they decided to sacrifice their lives from the lives they once had in Mexico to come to the United States to give us a better future. We weren't even born yet at this time, but they were already thinking about us at such a young age. With them not going to college, it was served as an obstacle for me because I couldn't go to them for advice on how to apply for college, how to write a scholarship application, how to file a FAFSA, how to register to be a voter. And this is a problem that I see for lots of first-generation college students. We like these resources, and with new student orientation, it allowed me to get those resources beforehand and to transition myself to a college student. Another obstacle that I faced was a fear of letting my parents down as a first-generation college student because for college, I guess, I see it as a seed to my own knowledge, and with having parents that have not been to college or have that experience to push your kids to go to college, I see it as a way of me having to push myself, to drive myself to succeed, to reach my goals, my dreams, and at the same time making my parents proud. There's a fear in me that one day I would not be able to succeed in this, but I know that with this fear, I push myself even further each day. And it all started in high school whenever I realized that I was showing my dad every time he came back from his work late at night showing him my progress reports because I've always been focused on my grades. And he was always telling me, ¿Por qué no un 100? It's always like a question that he's always asking me and my sisters, why not a 100? I was like, after this, he said it as a joke, and I took it as a joke lots of times, but being an introvert at that age, I didn't have to speak with since my parents were always working for us. My mom would work at 2 jobs at minimum wage. My dad would be working far away at a construction job, breaking his back each day. And I realized after this, having no one to speak with, I was just, why am I doing the bare minimum at school? Why am I not pushing myself, having parents that are doing all they can for us, having sacrificed their lives back in the country that they were born in for us? Why am I just doing the bare minimum? So I guess this new student orientation set up the right pathway for me to succeed. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Araba, for those in the audience that may not know, please explain what is Math Emporium.
Thank you. Math Emporium is a developmental math program that allows the student to work at their own pace. And much of the learning takes place in a classroom, but the instructor just provides assistance for the students. The greatest thing about the program was learning that I can move at a faster pace. So the first day in class, Miss Kola, who's my instructor, told us that if you're ready to learn, this is a program for you because you can move faster and finish both pre-algebra and beginning algebra in one semester, so you can take algebra the next one. And I said to myself, that's what I'm going to do. I have to get this out of the way so I can move on to algebra. I didn't particularly like math that much, so I didn't want to spend too much time on it. I'm like, it has to move fast. So I was determined from day one, and I hadn't been doing math for like maybe 16 years, so I had a lot to catch up with, but I spent a lot of time behind my software. Morning, night, lecture time, when my kids sleep, it was just math. And I was able to finish both in one semester, and then I was able to register for algebra this semester, which makes it awesome for me because I have never liked working math. So this program has really helped me in that sense, and I believe it will help other students too. Thank you.
You were raised in a different country and bring a different perspective. What are some of the things the audience should know about assisting students from other countries to be successful?
This question is of much interest to me. For most students like me who come from other countries, adjusting to the culture is the biggest obstacle that we face because schooling is different from where we come from. And when I started, I realized, I am one who always goes to my teacher for help. I don't hesitate if I need help. And for most of us, most of my friends, they don't even realize they can do that. Because back from wherever we come from, teachers are up there and you are there, so you don't really have that much interaction. And they don't realize they can go to teachers for help. I think that teachers can help us if they make themselves readily available to help. It goes a long way. I know language is a barrier, but one-on-one helps because, there's more understanding that way for international students or students who, grew up in other places. Schools can help, TCC can help much more with more counseling programs that helps us to adjust to the environment because that is huge. I see that they have mentoring and coaching programs, but mentoring and coaching impacts when the mentor can identify with the differences in the student's body. If I have a mentor that grew up where I grew up with, we kind of understand each other where we're coming from. It goes a long way. I see that would help a lot from the schools so that it's easier for us to understand how things work in America and know how we can fit in to help. Because we come and we are ready to learn. Most of us come and we are ready to learn and to grow and to succeed. We just don't find it easy to do that because of the way the setup goes. Even reaching out for information, sometimes it's hard to know where to get what information you want. And some people have issues with the use of technology because they are not up to it that much. So I think counseling services, coaching, mentoring services would really go a long way to help us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Michael, I see you have taken advantage of utilizing advisors through your process. In what ways have advisors helped your journey?
First off, I do want to say thank you for the question. I do want to say that advising has helped me as an individual because when I first came into college, I think it was probably 5 or 6 years after I graduated from high school, so I pretty much didn't know what I was really doing. I just knew I wanted to better myself. So once I got to Tarrant County College Northeast campus, my first thing I did, once I signed up, was went to an advisor, asked them what classes should I be taking because I didn't want to be taking just random classes. I was advised which classes that I needed to take as well. They informed me of an actual degree plan. They asked me what was my goals, what classes was I trying to take pretty much as far as like for my degree. I informed them of the classes that I wanted. Once they set everything up for me from there, we pretty much went from there. So pretty much they was like my backbone when I first got into college because I was really scared, confused, didn't know what to do. I was listening to everybody else tell me, oh, when you get to college, no one is going to help you. You're going to be lost, this, and this. So I had that impression when I first came in. But after getting with an advisor and working with them, they pretty much made my path so much easier and so much smoother.
Very good. I also noticed that you are pursuing setting up a nonprofit organization working with adolescent males. I commend you for that. Why is it important for you to give back to your community?
It is important for me to set up my program, Man Working with Boys, because I actually grew up in an environment where pretty much everything that I seen was pretty much negative. Everything I seen was young men growing up pretty much going to jail, young men growing up honestly selling drugs, doing pretty much the wrong things that they weren't supposed to be doing. So for me, it took my mother to pretty much come for me when I was, I think it was about nine years old. She came for me and moved me to a different environment and showed me that there were better things out there. So by me being able to see that, it allowed me as an individual to actually plan better and decide on better choices in life. And so pretty much myself, I said, if I can do the same thing for another young man, then maybe they may decide to do the same thing that I did, instead of saying, hey, instead of growing up and saying, okay, since I'm trapped in this society here, growing up and saying, I want to be a rapper, I want to be a drug dealer, I want to be this. Instead, they can say, well, I want to be a doctor. Well, I want to be a pharmacist. I want to be this and this, because they actually got to see a difference instead of seeing everyday life that's running around with them all the time. So that pretty much was it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Susan, there are many faculty members here today that teach online. What can online faculty members do to help students be more successful?
Personally, the biggest issues that I've seen with online learning is communication. Online learning, basically, you get the material, but you have to teach it to yourself. So if you're having an issue, you don't have a teacher right there that you see 2 or 3 times a week to answer your questions. So you have to try to wait on a response. And some teachers are pretty good about it, but the majority of them won't get back to you very quickly. And so that's the biggest issue that I've seen, is the communication with the emailing. I would just say that's the biggest thing, is checking your email more often. Not always the teacher, because I know if students are doing things last minute, then there's not enough time to get a response. But that's the biggest issue. Personally, another thing I've seen that's happened to me is for online learning, your teacher puts up material, and sometimes it's videos, notes, PowerPoints, things like that. And it really helps when it's their personal notes that correlate to the tests that you're being given. Because I've had teachers put up videos that were not them, and it did not correlate to the tests at all. And so it was pretty difficult going back to the communication thing, trying to get questions answered while you're trying to watch the video and figure out what's trying to be conveyed when it doesn't correlate to the tests. So pretty much communication is the biggest thing to me. Communication with material and communication all together.
Communication is always key. What are the misconceptions that students have of being an online student, which could stand in the way of their success?
The biggest thing that I've heard students say that is that they think that online learning is easier than classroom learning, and they think that it's not as much work. That's the biggest notion that I disagree with, because not only granted, you don't have to sit in a classroom for an hour 3 days a week, but you still have to learn the material, watch the videos, read the PowerPoints. And so in a way, it's more work because you don't have a teacher there to answer your questions, and so you're having to go through the PowerPoints and then go look something up and come back to the video or the PowerPoint. And so that's the biggest thing. They think that it's less time consuming. It's not at all. It's more time consuming for me personally. So that, and then they think that it's not enough work or not as much work as a classroom, which it's the same, because you have your assignments, you have your tests, but then you also have discussion boards, which a lot of in-class room classes don't have that. So that's the biggest thing, is they don't take it seriously enough. So when they sign up for one, they're like, oh, I didn't realize it was going to be just as much work as an in-class class. So they, end up dropping it because they don't have time for that as well as other classes, because they thought that it was just going to be something that you log in once a week and do one thing. So that's the biggest thing that I've heard students say, is that they don't think that they think it's a lot easier when it's really not, in my opinion.
Thank you so much for that. Irving, for the last 2 years, you participated in the National Achieving the Dream Conference. What has been your biggest lesson from that experience?
It has been an amazing experience to go to Dream twice, and I get to see a lot of professors, a lot of faculty, a lot of ideas from a lot of people. One of the biggest things that I've taken with me, it's that sometimes communication, like Susie said, it goes a long ways. And my main focus in the conference was for me to ask questions, inform the faculty what were my ideas and other students' ideas. Well, sometimes professors don't take our feedback very well, and they feel offended to an extent. I believe that if you say something with respect, you should be able at least to listen to what the student has to say. So there is a disconnection there. That was one of the biggest thing that I've learned, seeing these people that, yes, I know that you care. I'm seeing what are you doing for the school to be better, for the class to be better, but you're not willing to listen to the student feedback, and that can hurt the classroom.
Thank you for that. You are the oldest of your siblings, and you are obviously leading by example. What is being a role model? Why is that important to you?
Being a role model, it goes a long way. I think that you have to have the ability and the desire to inspire others with a clear set of values. I can go back to when I was younger, and I believe this set of values was taught in my house. There was an occasion in my family when we didn't have any food or anything in the house, and my mother decided to take away the bread out of her mouth to feed her children. So this is, one example of people giving, and that's how I feel now. Now that I'm older, now that I understand things, I feel that if I'm gathering all these experiences, it is my time for me to share. I never really realized that I was a role model until a couple semesters ago, when my peers in school, when my coworkers You know, that if I was excited about Dream, I was excited about going to graduation and doing all the things that I was doing, and a lot of people come up to me and say, you know what, you inspire me. I never meant to inspire anybody. It's just, I believe, hard work and dedication that has put me where I am today, and I'm thankful for that. And I'm thankful that I'm giving to my community what I was given once. That's the best that I have. Thank you.
All right, we'd like to thank the panel for your input. I know it takes a lot to speak publicly and be on stage. And we want to switch gears now a little bit and open the panel up to some questions or any specific praises you might have. So if you have any questions, now's the time. Yes, sir.
This question's for the two veterans. Given the drawdown with Afghanistan and Iraq, and then with the reduction in force going on within the DoD arena, for a lot of the veterans, what type of orientation do you feel would be beneficial for them, similar to what the students who do not have any military experience coming back into an academic environment? What type of information do you feel would be beneficial to those students so that they can be successful? Reason being I ask because we have faculty who are veterans and also sponsor veterans organizations, things like that. So for the chief, I know you were a depot level, so I know you would not have retired at your rank if you were not organized, things like this. But what would have helped you on your academic journey coming back in to an academic environment?
Thank you for that. For veterans, I mean, a big help is the financial capabilities that they're afforded with the GI Bill. A lot of the financing part is the issue, kind of making sure that that ball is kind of rolling properly, and the money that you put into the programs, that you are able to continue your education. That's the biggest thing for a veteran. The other things, the advisors, like other students, kind of works well with speaking with your advisor. But for me, I would say just having someone to discuss the money issues and the benefits that are afforded to you.
Yeah. Are you part of the veteran organization on your respective campus?
No, I'm afraid not.
You need to get involved.
Okay.
Okay, not to put you on the spot, but you need to get involved to get the word out, to share that also with the other veterans, okay?
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, who else? Any other questions for the panel? Okay. Uh-huh. Okay. Anybody else? Back there? Okay.
And another brief question, but just for how many of you was there one specific teacher that was instrumental in the success that you experienced?
I was say I would gladly like to speak on that. There's one teacher I've been following her from developmental all the way to English Comp 2. Her name is Miss Cindy Ball. She works at the Northeast campus. That is the most amazing teacher I've ever had. It's amazing. Like, she's really inspired me. There's times where I really thought about dropping out of school, and she came to me and she said, "No, Michael, you can do it," you know, and she just gave me the spirit to just really stay in school. And for that one teacher, she has really inspired me a lot. And I wish she was here today to hear it, but I honestly love that teacher. That's the best teacher I ever had.
I will also say,
oh, I'm sorry. No, please.
My pre-algebra and algebra teacher, Miss Cola, right there, she's one that I've also followed from when I started the Emporium journey and I'm still with her for algebra, and she's the best. Thank you.
Not just because she's here, Professor Music, she was definitely instrumental for me. Public speaking is not my forte, and she definitely helped me and inspired me to dig deep into myself and try to overcome some of those obstacles. So I do appreciate that.
I'll second that. Okay, other questions? Do we have something back here? Okay, yes, ma'am. You want to repeat that? Repeat that?
What was the motivation for going back to school? Honestly, I would have to say my motivation for going back to school, first off, were my children. They did motivate me to go back. Honestly, I didn't have the time because, like I said, I was a single father at one point in time. But after I met my lovely fiance, the one that asked the question, she actually did allow me to go ahead and get back into school because I was able to pretty much have that comfort to know my children would be okay, and for me to be able to go to school and not have no worries about having to leave school all the time to pick my children up. So she was a major help, as well as my mother. So without them two, I don't know where I really don't think I would be as far as I am now. So I do want to give my mother and my fiance a round of applause, please.
I can also elaborate on that. I hope so. After high school, I waited a full year. I worked 2 jobs, and I was making minimum wage on both jobs. So even though I was working a little bit over 70, 75 hours, I wasn't making even $1,000 a week. That was a wake-up call for me, because when you enter the real world, you understand that what your parents have provided for you at that point, it's a lot. And that $700 paychecks don't really make the cut for a living or for the things that you want for in life. So that's the reason why I decided to go back to school and get a higher education, just to better myself and be able to support for my family and those that I love the most.
For me, I started, college right off the bat from high school, but what made me go into college was statistics for people of my background, where first-generation students are like minorities or underrepresented people. I come from Richmond, California. It's like a place of low economic status over there in Northern California. And over there, the statistics, it says that people of my background wouldn't go to college. We'd be like a dropout. We'd be people in the streets. We'd be selling drugs. We'd be in gangs and everything. That's what was expected of me, what my parents also expected of me. That's why another reason why we moved to Texas. But in a way, the statistics are always the ones that remind me of who I am and my drive to go into college to get my college education. Thank you.
I must say, my beautiful wife of 24 years of marriage, she was my motivation, and I thank her so much.
For me, the motivation more is like I would like to seize the opportunity that this country presents to make an impact somehow. My husband and I came after college. He's been working all these years. I just did substitute teaching for a while. But I see that there's more to do when people come here. The education is different. It's the schools are willing to help you to succeed, and I wanted to take an advantage of it and do something more meaningful. I'm looking at getting a more professional degree so that I can help take care of people, help people who might need whatever help that I can offer in a more meaningful way.
Okay, any other questions? I thought we had one over here.
I just wanted to commend all the students for coming today. I really appreciate your time and taking time out of this Friday, and I know there's other things that you could have been doing, but you came here to spend time with us, And I just want to thank you for that. And I also want to say that I'm very inspired by you because your stories really help keep all of us going. And, when we hear it from the student voice, that's what drives us. So the question I have for you is, it's not easy to be successful in school. It's not easy to manage your home life, your school life, maybe you go to work, and all the different things that kind of come in your day. When the going gets tough, how do you keep going? So who is it or where is it that you go when you want to stop or you want to not go to school that day, or let's say the car doesn't start and you don't want to go to school or go deal with that problem? Where do you go for that support? And if there's any advice for us, how can we be part of that support?
Red Bull.
I can take that one. Oh, part of that one. When that happens to me, I do a couple things. I reach out to my instructors, and I think inside of my head, why am I in school in the first place? I have found my support system, and she's here today. It's Dr. Fulkerson. She is the one that has inspired me the most. I do want to thank her because sometimes when one of my classes gets hard and I'm just like, oh, I want to quit, I don't want to do this anymore, I think about why I start and that somebody saw something in me, that she believed in me. So if somebody else is believing in me, I should believe in myself as well. I also like to meditate and just think about the reasons why am I in school and why am I doing it. That helps me.
Thank you so much for your questions and your time. We really appreciate everything that you do. Like many detective movies, we hope that there's a sequel to this.
We really enjoyed being a part of this event, and it's truly humbling to see what all goes on behind the scenes and goes into student success. We'd like to stand with respect and recognize all of you for all your hard work each and every day. Thank you.
Thank you all. We really do want to thank you for your honesty and your candor and your bravery in coming and speaking with us. So thank you. Each of our students will get one of these success kits that we provide for our students through our Achieving the Dream project. And it has a toolkit in there for their classwork and a nice backpack. So I think you're going to pick those up out there, and we thank you again. Perfect. Now we're going to dismiss to attend our concurrent sessions. From 11 to 11:50 is the first session. The second session, lunch begins at 12 with our emerging ideas will be set up in the middle area there. And then our second session, 1:30 to 2:20. Enjoy the rest of the day.